Warm greetings to everyone. Today is a great day as we embark on a journey to explore the fascinating world of designing robust, efficient, and innovative systems. In this increasingly interconnected and technologically advanced era, system design plays a pivotal role in shaping the way we live, work, and interact. Systems around us in every aspect of our lives, from the intricate networks that power our communication systems to the complex algorithms that drive our transportation infrastructure, system design lies at the heart of all. Whether it's designing software architectures, developing hardware solutions, or creating seamless user experiences, the art of system design holds immense significance in our quest for progress. Today, we have gathered here with a common purpose to delve into the intricacies of system design and uncover the principles, methodologies, and best practices that underpin its success. Our distinguished panel of experts will share their vast knowledge and experiences, providing valuable insights that can transform the way we approach problem and innovation. So here is the most awaited seminar on system design, which will be carried out by our resource person, Mr. Michael Allwyn, the Chief Executive of Instacraft, Dubai, UAE, and his team. Together, let us unlock the limitless potential of system design and inspire a new era of innovation. To make our souls unite in harmony, filling the space with reverence and devotion, let us begin this event with a prayer song, connecting our souls to the divine peace. Please raise up for the prayer song.
As the gift and for the wonders of my soul, long and thee. You alone are my heart's desire and I long to worship thee. You alone are my strength, my shield. To you alone may my spirit yield. You alone are my heart's desire and I long to worship thee. You're my friend and you are my brother, even though you are a king. I love you more than any other, so much more than anything. You alone are my strength, my shield. To you alone may my spirit yield. You alone are my heart's desire and I long to worship thee. I want you more than gold or silver, only you can satisfy. You alone are the real joy giver and the apple of my eye. You alone are my strength, my shield. To you alone may my spirit yield. You alone are my heart's desire and I long to worship thee. I long to worship thee.
I request the dignitaries to occupy their seats on the dais. I request our HOD Dr. Bali Dasak sir, our coordinator MD Anandraj sir, Dr. Gerald Inigo sir, and chief guests to occupy their seats on the dais. Now, I request Dr. Gerald Inigo, the organizer of the seminar, to deliver the welcome address.
Good afternoon, everybody. The chief guest of the day, Mr. Michael Allwyn, head of the department, coordinator, and the faculty members, other students gathered here. So let me welcome all of you for this seminar on system design. You might wonder why this seminar on the system design in the beginning itself. You would have studied few concepts in software engineering right now. We are going to discuss little ahead of our syllabus, and we found that one of our alumni, Michael Allwyn, he is going to deliberate on system design, maybe the first part of your software engineering. So he studied here like you in 2007 to 2010. He has come all the way from Dubai for this particular seminar. So last week we have enjoyed his webinar. So he was helping our second year MSc students to select their project title via webinar with his classmates and juniors also, right? So it is our pleasant day, okay? It is our pleasant day. We are going to have him in our midst in order to deliver on system design. So let me welcome the chief guest and the resource person of the day, Mr. Allwyn, Michael Allwyn, with your big round of applause, please. So may I request our head of the department to present him a memento and a shawl as a token of our appreciation. On behalf of our students gathered here, I would like to invite the secretary of FIC, Mr. Jeeves, to honor him with the flower bouquet. I welcome our head of the department, coordinator, faculty members gathered, and the students, all of you, for this seminar on system design. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Leadership is not about being in control. It is about creating a positive impact and inspiring others to unleash their full potential. I call upon Joshua to introduce our resource person who is here to unleash our potential.
So yeah, I find great pleasure introducing Mr. Michael Allwyn. Michael Allwyn is the CEO of Instar Park Dubai. He's a tech enthusiast and a technopreneur. with collectively 13 years of entrepreneurial experience and one among the founding members of Gen Z's Technology Private Limited and advisory board of Kadalunagur. He is also a proud dad and a diligent student who loves to adapt to changes that are healthy. He is also a firm believer in the virtues of hard work, innovation, and fulfillment at the workplace, and constantly strive to bring out the perfect blend of these virtues at his workplace. We welcome you, sir, and we are glad that you are here. Let us give a round of applause for Michael Allwyn. Well, I now welcome Michael Allwyn to the stage.
Vanakkam. I think that gentleman, what's your good name, brother? Yeah, I hope you don't follow Tamil, right? Okay, but these guys would have taught you some Tamil words already. Little bit. Thoda. Cool. So, I will try to have my presentation today as much as possible in English and Tamil in a mix. Let's work in a model. So, quickly, I would like to thank Professor Dr. Gerard, the coordinator of the project, and the team staffs here who have invited us, but helped us to come to this stage. Not just me, but a few of my other colleagues who's working along with me today. Thank you for inviting me here to Alma Mater. This is an immense pleasure. So I love coming down to this college all the time, every time. And thank you for inviting me here as a speaker to share my little experience on what I've learned and what I've been doing today in this world where we are delivering systems. So before we start today, so it is about designing. So we were talking about system design, and that's exactly what we are planning to do as our session today. I wanted to walk through a step before that, which is very important to start and design. So we'll be working on analysis, which is a system analysis first basically, and then we'll move to the system design as well. So many of you all here are going to be doing your final year project, either your mini project or your major project. So I hope this crowd is a mix of people who are going to do your final year, third year final project in the next sem, or the PG students who are going to be doing your mini project, which is part of your 6 months curriculum in your third semester.
Yeah, you're right.
Correct, right? So I think I can take a lot of your help today to put this seminar to be more interesting. And I would love to bisect if you have any project, and I would love to hear from you to bisect and take this design study along with your project. So I would love to have 3 volunteers here. One who's doing an IR project, anything related IR devices, connecting devices, smart devices and things like that. Someone who's into mobile application development as a mini or major project, and someone with a web project. You can just choose among yourself and be ready. Another 5 minutes, we'll just take this volunteer, pick them up, and we will go through this journey with your project. I'll show you what we have done and what is very necessary on our part to learn from your part. And then we will also bisect and do this journey together. So before we start this presentation, I would like to share you one quick video. This is one of our the closest project what I've delivered, which is being used in the Middle East. A couple of government agencies are using this. So we, being a company here in Chennai, delivering something which is involving a mobile app, a web app, and VIR, which is interconnecting to these devices. So I would like you to see this video. It's just a 2 minutes video, and then we'll quickly dive into our presentation.
Welcome to the EN Enterprise Digital Clinic. You will now experience how a digital clinic visit happens. This pod has 2 vital components: an express check in which allows the user to check in digitally, complete his consent form after inserting his Emirates ID in the reader next to the display. Once the check-in is completed, the patient is directed to the digital clinic. He presents his Emirates ID, which identifies that the patient's check-in and payment status is completed and allows them to enter the digital clinic. Doors at the booth open automatically based on the result. Once the user enters the digital clinic, the door closes automatically, and to protect the patient privacy, the transparent walls at the digital booth automatically become opaque. The screen in front of the patient will guide him to measure their vitals such as height, weight, temperature, BP, and takes them into the video consultation waiting room to meet their doctor. The doctor will have access to all these data and has the ability to command more vitals and diagnostic details such as stethoscope, otoscope during the video consultation. Upon completion of the video consultation, the doctor will be able to share the prescription, referral details on the patient's screen and provide him the necessary instruction of medication. After the completion of the visit, the door opens automatically, and the booth gets sanitized for the next visit using the UV rays once the patient exits. Thank you for visiting.
Perfect. So this is one of the projects what we are going to dissect today and show you, because this is going to be where we have an IoT, where we have a web application which is running on it, and we do have some mobile application which is interconnecting to devices or to pull data and send it back to the system. So this is one of our product which we are delivering in the Middle East for a couple of other hospitals and government agencies. So we're going to be dissecting this on how we did this engineering, first with the analysis and then with the design of our system. So this is the base of the presentation today, and we're going to be walking you through on this journey of analysis and design together on this journey. So I asked for a couple of volunteers. No volunteers? Perfect.
Yeah.
Good thing, sir. Fun. So can you just explain a little more about your project and what you're intending?
Yeah, my project lies under web development. So my project idea is basically to help research students who are in phase of data gathering data. So when I chose this project idea, that time was the final year students were sharing their Google forms within WhatsApp and fill pandra அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு explain yeah. Google form fill பண்ணேன் என்னோட research process சொல்லிட்டு நிறைய பேர் வந்துட்டு ஷேர் பண்ணிட்டு இருந்தாங்க. So what I thought is to make a single platform where they can put their form there. So all over the throughout the Loyola people can visit, and if they like their abstract or their research idea, they can fill their form. So basic idea வந்துட்டு இப்போ ஒரு 50 people நம்ம ஷேர் பண்றோம்னா அதுல ஒரு 10 to 15 people வந்துட்டு form fill பண்ணுவாங்க. So என்னோட ஐடியா வந்துட்டு இப்போ throughout Loyola வந்துட்டு around 9,000 people இருக்காங்க. So if we have a platform where 9,000 people can access it, so we can get at least 100 or 200 data, live data. So basic idea.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll take your help. Yes. Anyone doing mobile application, developing mobile apps, or maybe as a utility application or something to do with services? यार mobile application बना लिया. IoT. எனக்கு உங்க ப்ராஜெக்ட் எல்லாம் கொடுத்துருந்தாரு ஜெரால் சார். யார் என்னென்ன ப்ராஜெக்ட் என்ன கொடுத்தீங்கன்னு ஐ கேன் பிக் தட் ஃப்ரம் தேர். கேன் ஐ யாரா வாலண்டியர் இருக்கீங்களா? I'm not going to take a lot of your base time. It's just to understand and dissect. Any ideas? Anyone? So since we don't have any other volunteers here, we'll walk through what we have planned basically. So when it comes to analysis and system analysis basically, so you guys are in your final year trying to do a project. So what is it for you doing or developing a project? Is it just a marks which you get at the end of the semester, or is it a project what you're going to be delivering to show that whatever you have learned for the last 3 or 2 years or 5 years in a total? Or is it something what is going to give you identity to get to the professional world, to get into an industry where you can go prove yourself? So your entire mentality and attitude around it is going to help you out on getting your first phase of your project development done right. So the first phase of it is analyzing. So analyzing your requirement. So analyzing a system or developing an analysis document is something very, very important. And how do you do that? So today we just heard from Atik saying that there were a couple of people sharing him WhatsApp links, and that link gave him an idea, why don't we have a portal for it? So necessity is mother of all invention. So there was a necessity, there was a business case, there was a problem, and the problem is there and you're providing a solution around it. So your analysis is to identify the right problem. So how do you identify your right problem? So you know there is a problem and you need to validate whether the problem is right or wrong. And how do you do that? So you'll go talk to people or stakeholders there in a particular industry. So in our case, I showed you a pod right now. The pod was a necessity in our region where we are working. So we work in a region where there are hospitals every kilometer. So there are tens and hundreds of hospitals in Dubai. Every building there has a clinic. There are the patient-doctor ratio in UAE, in Dubai, is for every 100 patients there is 19 doctors available. So what the World Health Organization says is, for every 100 patients, it is enough to have 7 doctors in general. But we have there's a bigger gap. That is like we have more doctors. The supply of the doctors inside Dubai is more. So that is not a problem for us. But in Abu Dhabi and in the other regions where it is spread across as a very big land and the population density is low, there the doctor spread is very low. The doctors, you may have a GP, general physicians, you may have some kind of a specialist, you may not have a cardiologist with 10 years experience sitting in a Musafa mall, or a cardiologist with 18-20 years of experience sitting in Al Ruwaisis. So these are regions where we are targeting. So the government there had this problem to be solved. There are doctors there in Dubai, but these guys are not ready to go to these places for 2 reasons. One, they may not have enough customers to serve, because at the end of the day, doctors, they need to have more patients so they can do 2 things. They can learn and they can earn. Because at the end of the day, what makes them better from what they are today is their learning. As they see new people, new patients, new complications, that is what is going to make their process refined, their practice refined. So this was a biggest problem. Even if you have to pay a very big money to these doctors are not ready to sit in a place where they will have only 5-10 doctors or maybe 1 or 2 procedures a day. When I say procedures, like surgeries. So the problem was, they wanted to set up this problem into a different model. They want a patient even sitting in Ruwaisis or in some kind of a remote location to have the best doctor's advice at any given point of time. So that's where telemedicine came to play. There was an app, people downloaded, they saw the doctor, they met and they spoke, all went well during the COVID. But what failed there? The doctors were not able to get what patient vital is today. Is the patient having a temperature? Is his blood pressure normal? Does he have a regular heart rate? Is he having any other problems? So these are data which we are not able to get from a teleconsultation. So they rolled out a RFP. They wanted to solve this problem. So they know they want this is called health equity. They want everyone to have the best option possible in the place where they are, especially for a patient. So that is where this pod was being designed. The idea of the pod was very simple. had to see one problem. The problem is doctors can't go to remote places. Even today in Tamil Nadu, this is like there are specialists, cardio, knee replacement specialists, orthopedicians, sports medicine specialists. All these guys are sitting in the tier 1 and tier 2 cities, not in a tier 3 cities. The problem, the biggest problem for this is these doctors don't get all the infra in these tier 3 cities. When I say tier 3 cities, it could be some small villages, it could be some small towns where there is no infra to support what they want to practice, or they don't have enough patients coming in. Maybe just because of the population strength, maybe 100,000 patients being there, or the population of the entire town could be some 100,000. So out of which someone having a complicated heart disease could be the 1% of it, the probability of it could be 1. So in that case, they would be wasting a lot of their valuable time sitting in that particular village. So that is the reason why these people travel to these cities and patient keeps traveling. So if I have to take a second opinion here, what I do is I have to go contact this doctor's office. Either through a telemedicine. Now a lot of these doctors don't do a telemedicine because COVID is no more there. So they're not doing any telemedicine consultations. So what they do is the patient sitting in the remote place in some Tirunelveli district or in some Thoothukudi district or somewhere has to take a train, come to Chennai, take an appointment with this doctor, meet this doctor and get this consultation done. And this consultation could be just 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. All what he wants to see is your reports along with what is your problem, and he says, okay, let's plan a procedure. Or this is what your previous doctor said, okay, this is fine. We'll proceed with A, B and C problems or procedures. This is what they do. So to solve this problem, we wanted to create a solution which will allow you to go take a consultation. At the same time, the doctor has all the data, what he wants to see from a patient, at the convenience of the patient, at the convenience of the doctor. So the problem was very clearly stated. Now we went back and sat with the stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders? The stakeholders in our case were regulators, government agencies, Ministry of Health, Department of Health, health authorities, hospitals, private and tertiary hospital chains. These are our stakeholders, along with the data which was available with the government from patients, saying that I'm not able to talk to a doctor of A, B and C category just because they are not available in the region. All what I'm doing is I have to travel 2 hours, traveling 400 kilometers to go meet a doctor. So to solve this, the problem was discussed with the stakeholders, with the right stakeholders to understand the problem. So in your project, your analysis starts with identifying a right problem. So the right problem of maybe just as Atik said, he had a problem of identifying something of being sent over a WhatsApp. Why can't we have a solution for a portal? The same way, there could be a problem which we have chosen. Maybe you guys are doing a library system, some like traditional projects which I have been seeing, even my grandpa doing some projects like that. Library management system, attendance system, couple of other things. So you may have identified a problem. So your problems could be right. That should not be a problem. So the problem, what you have chosen is something which you identify, then you validate. Is this a problem? Really? How do you validate a problem? First thing is, I would go check, is there a similar solution available out in the market today? So if there is a similar solution out in the market, I would not create it. I would see what is there, what is not there, and from there I pick up things which is not there and try to. There are solution providers like SAP, like Oracle, like Microsoft. There are a lot of these providers there. They already have solving biggest industry problems out in the market. But there are still invoicing tools available like for example, when I talk about SAP is more into, they have ERP systems, which is already solving problems of ERPs related to cement industry, manufacturing industry, construction industry, law firms, pharmaceutical companies, healthcare companies, all of this. But on top of it, they may not be covering everything. What they would be doing is they would be having a base of it, a very big, very good PISA base, let's call it. If there is, you are talking about a problem, you have identified a problem, maybe in a construction industry, let's say, put it in this way. And you are saying that already SAP is having a wonderful product on top of it. So does that mean you have to stop your vision? No. The problem may be for two reasons. So is this solution cost effective? No. If it is not, then you still have a market there. If you see the solution is cost effective, but still has some gap, that is where people keep developing plugins. How many of you have used snipping tool in your browsers? Google Chrome snipping, so you guys have used it. You know at least there's a tool like that. So you know there are plugins on top of it you can download from Chrome. The reason of these plugins are, these are problems which are identified. So Chrome already has all these functionality. Probably they didn't think about a snipping tool. They didn't think about a color picker tool there. Someone has thought about it as a problem, identified it, and added as a plugin. So this is a way how you manage and analyze and get a next step out of it. It is not that you have to create another Chrome. It is not going to be possible. A browser without a snipping tool is not going to be valid. No. All what you can do is you can enhance what is already there in the market and pick and do something on top of it as an add-on. So when you're choosing a project or when you're choosing a solution or a problem, first your problem, you can identify where your problem is exactly. Hit the right spot. Validate the problem. How do you validate the problem? Check whether there is a solution for that. If there are problems having a solution already, then you can always just see options around it where you can add more value to it. If you can really add value to it, yes, great. Then pick that problem, take it to the stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders? If you are working for a project which is going to work for a construction industry, let's say. So if it is going to be used by engineers, if they wanted to know, okay, for this kind of a design, what kind of a materials I want, what kind of a labor I need, what kind of an experience I need, what kind of a timeline I want to generate out of it. If these are something which a problem statement or you're going to be working with, then go talk with people who are going to use the system, because they are the stakeholders. They are going to give you more inputs. We can assume a lot of things. Maybe we would have done a project, we would have constructed something at our home. Maybe a new balcony was constructed. You would have seen what is happening as a problem. They didn't plan well. Maybe they asked for 10 bags of cement, and at the end of the day, they wanted 12 bags of cement. There was no proper communication channel on the entire process. This guy said this, the other guy didn't know what was it. So all these things are problems which you can identify, work on, and put together. So this is something which you always have an option, but you can assume things unless you go and talk with the real stakeholders. While I was here in Loyola, we were part of a group called, so our company name is Gen3S, GE. It stands for each of our co-founders' name. G for Girba, E for Elil, M for Michael, Moses, Mohammed, S for Sachin. So it's us, a team of friends who started this company when we were at Loyola. So we were presenting paper presentations. I'm good in telling stories. So I'm making few people already sleep, which proves that I'm good in telling stories. Few people are yawning after your heavy lunch. So I'm good in telling stories. We go present our thing, the paper presentation in different colleges. That's where we started with something called the Great Minds Contest, which is being conducted by IBM. I believe the competition is still here, even these years now. So it is helping students to develop designs, develop projects using IBM tools or IBM powered tools, and submitted for their review. So we were part of that. And at that time, my problem was I lost one of my cell phones. It was Nokia N72. I'm not sure whether you guys have seen that model. There's one big box with back camera where I can just open it. It was a very nice phone. I had it in my shop, like my dad had a shop, so I had it there. Someone came to see something else, took it off and went. The problem there was this, that phone, while I was doing at Loyola, that phone was around from 35,000 rupees. So it was a big money. I had an insurance. Luckily, I had an insurance. So when I went back to Nokia Care and said, "Boss, I lost my phone." Okay, good. Not a good scene. Okay, you have an insurance, which is good. So why can't we have a police FIR so we can help you to get your money back from your insurance? Because it has a theft production at the time. Okay, that sounded fair. So I went down to a police station, first time, all by myself, trying to get a police complaint. I went there, took a white sheet. I told, "Sir, I lost my phone." They said, "Go, kneel down, go, kneel down. Stand there. This is not my problem today. Stand there." So I was waiting for some good time, like some 30, 40 minutes. I'm a student from Loyola College. I can speak some decent English. I said, "Sir, my phone is lost. I wanted this." So the kind of experience what I got from there was, like it slapped me with the reality how a common man will be experiencing a service like this in a public place. So I was very, it was getting frustrated. I was thinking, oh man, these guys are not treating me right. Then one old guy came and said, "Ayya varvanga, you go write a complaint and bring it here." I said, okay. I took a paper from there. I took a pen. From address to address, as I am suffering from fever, all that letter in English, I went and I gave it to that guy. There is a writer. He said, "Enda oor?" He asked me this question, "Enda oor?" I said, "Chennai." "Tamil theriyada?" I said, "Theriyadu." He tore this paper in front of me and asked me to write it in Tamil. I said, "Sir, what is the problem?" "Oi Tamil edutittu va, English la complaint edutha maata." So this is a process. Even today, if you go file your FIR in a police station, you cannot write it in English. Until and unless you tell them and convince them, you can't write it in Tamil. Okay, now the problem starts. The real devil starts. My Tamil is good when I speak, horrible when I write. Anupunar, rendu suli nuva, moonu suli nuva. So my problem started there. So for a guy who had been, and trust me, my college here, I've done all the way Tamil as my subject, second language. I've never taken French, even in my school, even here. So I thought, I do sign in Tamil. That's the comedy here. So I didn't know all these doubts. I went there. He started to correct it like a examiner. Idu ipdi varadu, idu ipdi varadu, idu ipdi varadu. I felt shattered after writing, and I thought, I don't want my phone anymore. Now this guy has given me the taste of beep now, and I don't want this. Go back to him again. Then he called me, asked me to sit there. Okay, come, write like this. And he gave me a reference paper and asked me to copy from that. So I had to do that, got it done. 5 days after, he asked me to come back and get a FIR. I said, okay, fine, now it's all done. My FIR should be ready. 5 days after that, I went there. The problem there was, he said, oh, okay, oh, you gave that day, okay, fine. I don't know, can you give another complaint today? Can you give another complaint today so that we can get your FIR another week's time? This was mind-boggling. I have lost a 35,000 rupees mobile phone. That's my first damn problem. Second thing is, these guys are humiliating me to the core to write it in Tamil, and for what I have not done any mistakes. Some crook took my phone and went away, and I'm being put into a bitter state of humiliation. So what we did is, at that time, there was a committee called FACT here. I don't remember, there's still one here. No FACT. So they had some paper presentation, and the Computer Society of India was active at that point of time. They had a paper presentation. So now it was my time to take revenge. I said, my dream city of peace is a presentation name. With this one experience what I had, this is my problem statement. I went to a police station, I'm not able to give a complaint. This is a problem. Why the hell should I go to a police station when I'm not a person at fault? Because all these days my family has told, if you are not doing something right, then you go to the police station. I'm a victim here. Why the hell should I go there? I have lost something. I'm a victim. So why should I go there? Why should I be humiliated in front of all these people? Wait for hours and hours and hours for people who don't even turn up and give a shit about it. So what happened is, we presented a paper called the Dream City of Peace. I had a good contact with Dr. Rajendran, who was Assistant Commissioner at the time. One of my close friends' father. He used to work with the Commissioner office at Gatemore. So I went there. I told him, Uncle, I'm doing something like this, and I want your help. And that is when there was one big problem which was being published by Dr. Sailendra Babu, who's our current, is in a good position now. So he had said about, in one of his report, he has talked about one big problem, that today they don't have that. It is like some 12, 13 years back. They said the biggest problem they have is they don't have enough people in the force. The reason why they don't have enough people in the force is not every issue which is happening is getting complained or being recorded. Only if there is pending cases, they will look, okay, I don't have enough resources, I'll go hire some new policemen, or I'll go hire some A, B, and C, or I'll go hire some cyber security people. So they don't know any track. And then I thought, yeah, who will go and complain? You took my complaint, and it was not there with you anymore. So how will, even if I have given it, there's no track, there's no record. So we wanted to make this process very simple, and we created a story. Okay, like Atik had an idea, I had an idea that time. Okay, we will have a portal where any civilian can log in. At that time, we didn't have Aadhaar ID. We didn't have any kind of identification process. All what we did was, we just took that as an example. Okay, I was a victim. There will be a mechanism where I can go send petitions. I can send a complaint, which will go, okay, sending complaints, does it solve the problem? No, because it doesn't get me an FIR. What will get an FIR? Someone has to attest that they have taken this, acknowledge this, that this complaint has been accepted. So there needs to be a system on the other end, the people who are accepting it. So when there is someone getting it on track, getting it recorded, that is with a timestamp of date and time and who submitted it, when they submitted it, and all of that. So then that stands as a proof that they have to put in their effort to complete that process. So we designed, out of a coffee club meeting, we did all these things, and we presented our paper with the Computer Society of India, CSI, and our paper was selected as the third best paper presented on that entire conference. It was all of Tamil Nadu. We have been awarded a cash prize of 10,000 rupees. The biggest part was that project was being posted in the Hindu newspaper. I still have the cutting at my home. I didn't plan to tell all about this, but so that paper cutting was the first achievement what I had, telling my story right, understanding a problem right, and putting a solution around it. So after that, every presentation, every college, wherever you go, we had the same story, and that created an identity. It was not something which was done for marks. It was not something which was done to tell that we are efficient with A, B, and C, but it was something which helped us create our identity. What happened after that? With this newspaper cutting, we took it, scanned it, sent to all our people. Like it's a six of our friends. So we wanted to send it all to our networks, friends, our professors, schoolmates, and everyone. One good day, we met someone from IBM who said, "Why don't you do this as a project?" We developed it. We were there until the second round, or where we were not able to complete the coding process because we were still figuring out what to do, how to do. And that journey didn't move forward, but that gave us a very great experience on understanding a problem, because you need to connect with someone to tell them that I have a solution for you. So if you need to tell them that you have a solution for you, you need to have a great project. What does your interview comprises of? All your C's and C++, Python, PHP, whatever you guys are learning, is going to be a very important component in your interviews. That is one big piece. But what they're going to talk about after telling about you, where you're coming from, your family, all of that, what is that you have more to talk? Today I had only 5 slides. I had nothing to talk today. I just came here for a vacation yesterday from Dubai. This presentation was made 5 minutes before me coming in here. So the problem here is I have a story to talk for another 3 hours with you, only with the problem what I solved. I think you have another story, I think. Good. So the understanding of your problem statement is going to help you out in a bigger way. Analysis is going to be something. It is not telling that this is my project it is to be in a one-liner, but your understanding around it has to be deep, and it has to have recorded, because that's something what you're going to be working for the next 6 months' time. So getting your project analyzed is one model where you take requirements from people, from your stakeholders. Getting it validated. So when you are getting it validated, the third important thing what you're going to be doing is recording your entire analysis. How do you record your analysis? So we're going to be talking about that next. So after this analysis is being done, in a software world, it has to be presented back as a document. So it has to be in this 2 major forms of document. One is a business requirement document, and the other one is a user stories. Can you open the business requirement documents? So I'm gonna walk you through on this BRD document basically, on telling you about what it basically consists of. So your BRD document is gonna tell what you have analyzed in your project. What is that you have understood from analyzing your project, or the problem statement basically. And then you put that into a piece of document. What is that gonna have? It is gonna have the detailed business requirement for it. At the end of the day, you are developing a system which needs to have some kind of a value, either a commercial value or a business value, or some kind of a value. And how do you put that together is this document. So here we have a reference which we have created. So this is something for a patient portal what we have been doing, where we are trying to do a medical tourism for patients coming from different countries to a particular part of the world, and provide fine. So the business requirement document is going to have very great information and insight of what your business value is going to be. So what are you going to deliver to A, B, and C? Or what is that you have analyzed as a problem, and what is that you are intending to get as a solution. So in our case, for example, let's go back to Atik's problem. He said he has a problem which is to have to create a portal which will have all the research data which is happening inside in Lila. So in this case, he has done his analysis. He has vetted that there is no other solution out in the market which is doing this for college. Maybe for Lila College, let's put it in that way, more precisely. He has made sure to talk with all the scholars, researchers, the college management, all the stakeholders who can get this data approved, because you don't own any of these data. As a portal, you don't own any of these data. This has to come from an author. It has to be authorized by a regulator. In this case, it is your college and your professors. So you talk with them and you understand what is to be done. Okay, there's going to be a form, an abstract form, and that abstract form is going to upload data by a researcher or a student who's going to do this project. That goes through a cycle, that gets approved by someone who's an academician who approves the project. And once he or she approves the project, that information is going to be published on a public domain where it is going to be accessed. So now you need to tell each and every piece of this user interfaces into an analysis report, which is your BRD diagram or BRD document. Can you just scroll it down? So what we usually do in our industry is, because like your record page, like we would have, when I was doing my college, I never had an habit of writing that date and this and that on my records. My teachers used to scold me, why you are not doing that. But that is very important, because any document you are writing without that is a piece of shit. It's going to a crap. You need to have everything versionized. What you are doing, where it is being done, who's writing it, who's approving it, what is the status of that document? Is it a draft document? Is it an approved document? Is it signed off by the users? Is it signed off by the stakeholders? All of that. And it will have the amendments data in your project. Let's take it in this way. You start your analysis today. You have done your study and you have come up with one piece of history. Cool. You have put that into a document. Then you go to your project review with your mentor, and he or she adds more valuable comments on top of it. Okay, then in that case you miss A, B, and C. You need to have track of what was done yesterday and what is being added today. So that has to be documented somewhere. That is where the entire industry makes money. There's a very great saying back in the US: doctors who treat well are not being paid well. Doctors who are documenting it well are paid well. Even here in India, that's the case. If a doctor can document right, have you ever seen someone's discharge summary? If you had, then you know, because they would have told you, okay, it's just a dengue fever, and it is all what we know is just dengue fever, 5 days of treatment. They would have claimed a 2.5 lakh claim from an insurance. Insurance would have paid 2.5 lakhs. Why? It is not because it is from A, B, and C hospital which is reputed. No. It is how well the team has documented. Documentation of their ICD codes, their CPT codes, what they have done, what tests they have done, what results they have expected, what was the impact of the medication they have delivered. Each and every piece of that would be documented. If they are not documenting it, they are not being paid for it. Because insurance pays after 90 days when you leave the hospital. They are not getting the money today. There is no guarantee that insurance will pay them as well. 80% of the claims are only being paid by an insurance. 20% is written out. So for example, if a hospital A is giving a claim of some 100 crores this year, only 80 crores has been paid. 20 crores has been written out. And this is how the business works. So if you have to document it well. Whether it is a software, whether it's any business, you have to have this documented well with the history. In this column, so usually you know an introduction about your project or the analysis, whatever report you have done, that goes there. Overview and what is the operating model? What is the business? So in this case, let's talk about Arthic's project, where you wanted to have a portal. So the portal is operated by whom? Who the users? how it is getting money or how is it getting publicized, how is it going to be used, who's going to be the end users of it. All of that being updated here. Now you start putting in a reference high level diagram of the components of your project or your analysis. Okay, I'm going to have users of the system. So the users here are patient, medical tourism agent, physicians, administrators and things like that. And they do have, what do they need? So a patient needs a portal or a mobile app or a web project or a web portal. There needs to be a payment gateway. There needs to be an integration with WhatsApp, SMS gateway, whatever it is. So all those pieces are being added. So you visualize when you are doing your analysis, what you do is you understand what you are going to do, first thing. Second thing is you also know, okay, if I am going to communicate with my user, I need a portal. If I need to let them know that his request has been approved or not approved or denied, all that has to be communicated by one way or the other. So it has to be done either through a WhatsApp or through an email or through an SMS. So then there is a communication mechanism which is required. So you put in all different components which is required and you put that to a piece of paper. And that's what your BRD would include. And now, after that, you also put your entire requirement as such that what on a one single liner telling what these patients would do or what these doctors would do. Would they download a mobile app? Will they download a web portal? Or they access a web portal? Or do they have to go to a clinic? In our case, it was a clinic. So do they have to go to a B and C clinic? Is there a kiosk involved? If in that case, if it's a kiosk, then what do they do around it and all those things. So you put a single liner about the process around it and how it is being done. So each and every features of your portal, whatever you are defining, on your analysis goes to this document. User, for example. Based on the BRD, BRD, we create user stories. So what is user stories basically? User stories are a document which are going to tell you the workflow of how things happen. Okay, someone logs in. What after login? They log in, they get into a dashboard. Okay, what after dashboard? You give them a update of A, B, and C to be done. If they have to make a payment, in that case, that has to be highlighted. If they have any integrations to be done, then those things have to be added and shown up there. All of that goes into this document. So can we go to the user stories? Just scroll down. Go down. Okay, so this is one sample of a user story. Okay. So this is for a system where we are doing a patient login. Okay, so user story will say, okay, who's going to log in? What is their mode of doing that? What is that information they're going to have in that? So if it is a password, they have to make sure the password has to be 8 characters. If it is a username, then is it an email or mobile number? What exact information you wanted to show on that screen goes down here. And with this information, we ensure to design your user interface. So what happens in a real industry is you don't go think about a project today. Okay, tonight I've dreamt about a great project. Tomorrow I'll go code, or tomorrow I'll go use a Photoshop PSD and do a screen, and I'll complete my project. That is not what happens. So when you have an idea, that idea has to be validated. It has to be checked for foolproofing around it. Find a user story, because at the end of the day, it is not one single person who's going to do this. There's going to be departments who are going to work on this particular project. There's going to be a business analyst who's going to create this analysis document. which is going to go back to a designer who doesn't have any clue about any of these things, but he just sees this document and does the user interface based on that. And then it is going to a developer who does not understand what these two guys have done already. And he's going to write something on top of it. Without these documents, nothing is going to move. So your project, when you're doing it as a project from your state, make sure you prepare all these documents correctly, because this is something which is also going to fetch you marks. At the end of the day, your project, whether it is getting validated or not, for what it is going to be awarded, or your project marks are coming is not for that one external examiner coming and signing, yeah, I have checked it. No. What it is for your constant effort. Why do people in college get a basic job easily, rather someone dropping out? Why do companies, have you ever thought why companies ask for consistency of 60% and above all through the career when you're completing your college? Do you know the real reason around it? They know by this I am selecting someone who has been at least a part of his life, 17 years or 18 years, has been continuously doing something, and I can expect him to show off to my workspace when I'm giving him an award or when I'm giving a job. So this documentation and this process around it is going to help you out to get that consistency level starting right from here. Can you go back to the presentation? Now, once this analysis has been completed, that's when your design process starts. So, analysis, design, it is like twin babies. So, without this will not work. And you have to do your analysis right, only then your design will be to the stage where it can go to the next step. Otherwise, this will not work. So, on a design level, there are three important components which you have to look for. One is an architectural design, the high-level design, and a detailed design. So what is an architectural design? So you need to understand what all components which come into your project. And this is where you decide a lot of items or lot of components which needs to be based on your analysis. Your project is to talk about, let's take Karthik's project again. So it is about 9,000 people. So at any given point of time, this portal is not going to have more than 9,000 users, or the worst case is 9,000 concurrent users can be the maximum load which we can expect out of this project. Let's say an example of 10th and 12th marks being published. There could be at least some 10 lakh people writing the 10th standard exam, 10 lakh people writing the 12th standard exam. At any given point of time, the maximum concurrent users can be that, or even twice of it, because their parents could be searching it from 2 or 3 different places. They wanted to verify all these things. So the entire planning around it starts from there. Your architecture is very important. Are you going to have a web application, or is it going to be a system application where it is going to run on a Windows computer? All this analysis starts from here. So why to be a web application? So if it has to be, I don't want any users to download the application. I just want them to go click on a URL and get this started. That study happens from the analysis what you have done, and that is where you put that into a design. The high-level designs of your data structures, ERDs, DFTs, and what all you guys do. What do you do in a ERD? ERD என்ன பண்ணுவீங்கன்னு தெரியாதா? ERD படிக்கலையா? ERD DFT எல்லாம் எக்ஸாம்ஸ் Fine. So your ERDs, DFTs comes here in this part of the design. Detailed designing of your portfolio, what comes in there? I think I'm talking to audience who are not really good for this conversation in that case. If you guys have something very important to talk, please you can do that. I think leave my stage. So the detailed design is going to be more about you getting your fine tunings on the design. So what is that? So now you have an analysis done. You have created a document around it. You have created your entity relationship diagram, your data flow diagrams, and you go look for the nuances around it. So now you have completed the piece of how you can write a software. The second part of it is after that you need to go implement it somewhere. So is it going to be a web application? If web application, are you looking for a VM based approach? When I say VM based approach, or cloud VM or box or computer on Savara Mati, other run pandada, or Dockers, Kubernetes module services, multiple Dockers run pandada. Is it going to run on a microservice architecture or is it going to be a client server architecture? So what kind of topology you want, what kind of load you are expecting. So if I'm expecting a concurrent user of 100,000 people a day, then I have to have my server scaled up in that way. How am I protecting it with the security part of it? So I'm going to expose this particular process or the project to hundreds and hundreds of people out in the market. So in that case, I need to make sure the security piece has been taken care of. How's that? Is the process what I'm using secure? Am I validating the right data? Am I making sure that the payloads can be taken care in the right way? Am I using an API-based approach? And when you are using applications development, you don't write a query directly. So what you guys have been learning all these days is to write a query directly to your database and show that in a user interface. But that is not what industry looks for. When I can write and read your code with the error message there, I can just make sure that your database can be hacked in a few minutes. So there are processes around it. So all those definitions gets into this detailed design document. So idil output in our what is the output of the designing phase? You end up getting a low-level design. So the low-level design is using So the low-level design information is going to have your logical architecture. What is that you're going to have? What kind of setup are you going to have? What kind of database you're going to have? How are you going to authorize? How are you going to authenticate a user? What is your API security? If you're using a server, are API implement there are people who would be aware of this JavaScript languages like Angular, TypeScript, then React.js and all this. So in that case, you need your NPMs to be up and RPMs to be up and all those things. So all those information gets here in this particular document. This document, since it's a commercial project, it is extensive, but you don't have to have this much extensive documentation. But this piece is going to be one big reference which is going to help the developers understand what are they developing, why are they developing it, and what are the use cases around it. So, for example, we also talk about logs, how the logs are being stored, where it is stored, what are the components in the log. So log is like your dustbin. So you cannot just throw everything into the dustbin. If you have been watching all these James Bond movies and all, the biggest clue comes from these trash cans. So don't leave sensitive data into that. How do you make sure your system is not leaving a sensitive data there? Maybe there is a credit card information of your user there. You cannot just add that into the log because log is something everyone can see who has access to that computer or to that machine. So how do you make sure that you take care of all those things? These are components. These may be very high level today as a student today, but I'll tell you, another 6 months to 1 year time when you are getting to a job, you guys are going to be pinned left, right, and center to understand all these things. At that time, they're going to ask you for A, B, and C. You're not going to be competing until you're in Loyola's banner. You are in one of the top 10 colleges out in the market. When you step out of this college, you are one among the hundreds and thousands of people who are searching for a job. At that place, Loyola is not going to help you in a bigger part, because what you're going to be exposed, telling them that you have as a reference or as an identity, that is going to make a difference. Loyola can add a value to get you inside the game. Maybe TCS, okay, Loyola student, give me your resume. Fine, that stops there. After that, anything and everything which is happening is going to be on what you're going to be putting in this understanding. This is a very big process. This is a very big learning curve. But what you're going to do in this, and if you're going to do that religiously, you're going to get it through. So here we have a lot of configurations. We tell, okay, this is the Apache server we're going to be using. This is the version we're going to be using. This is the Ubuntu version we are going to use. This is how we connect to a remote server and all of it. Scroll. So this is on our way how we are doing our MVC pattern. So if a web application development you guys will be doing a query directly in your HTML or PHP page directly. You may not be very much aware of, or maybe that's not part of your curriculum today. So there's something called MVC or MVVC patterns which are available in the market. When you're doing a project, when you're doing a design, try to understand what it is. It is basically, you don't show your code to anyone. You don't show the end user what you're doing. So you hide your code separately. There will be a model, a view, and a controller. The business logics will be done on the controller. So the business logic will be done on the controller. The view is going to be there on the environment where you are just going to show the result and take the request from someone. The model is going to understand, have the business logic around it, carry the business logic around it. So we putting in, okay, the script comes to the application, where it goes to the controller, it goes to the filter, all those things, minute informations. If you can, these are some things which you're going to do every day. When you are going to do this as part of your application, or whether it's an application or an IoT project, you're going to take care of all these things. But make sure that you read and understand what it is, so that if someone asks you what is that you have done, you can talk about it. I have done a project is one-line statement. I have done a project in A, B, and C. With A, B, and C is going to add more value to it. Like saying, okay, I've done a project in .NET. I've used the latest mechanism in which I've handled IIS in a better way. I've made sure that my project had a security concerns which has been taken care. We followed OSA as a mechanism to how our security part will be taken care. Then we had RDBMS, which has been connected to A, B, and C. Or I didn't use RDBMS, but I used the MongoDB because I wanted to have an hybrid model of data. All these are some things which is going to make you feel proud when you're talking about it, when you have done honest research. These are researches which are not going to take a lot of time. You guys are going to do this for 6 months. Probably 2-3 days of your time. You guys are very smart, sparky. So it's not going to take a lot of time for you to understand what it is, because you know the basic. The same language is what you're going to work. What you want to put in is a disciplined approach. At the end of the day, what matters is that disciplined approach. You have been disciplined and approachable in a lifetime of your college. You have been showing up here, because that's the reason your distinction comes into play. You have been having a very good track record of 75% plus attendance plus this. So this makes you to show that you are a disciplined person. You have been part of this college. The same on a software world. What makes you, or what shows you, is the approach you take. People don't take these things seriously. People just say, okay, what is that? Software engineering is a boring subject. Operating system is not a required subject. All these are basics. What, even when I'm studying, I was in the same impression. Why am I even learning about operating system? I did a 1 semester of operating system in my MCA. Already all the operating systems are there. Why the hell should I even understand about it? I'm not going to develop an operating system. I'm a developer, hardcore developer. I'm going to develop something. But if you have to develop something, you need to understand what is the base of it. Where we have come from that 4 GB memory or 4 KB memory to what we are here today. All of that is a history, and you need to understand how system works. Only then you can work, right? You can do the things right. It is like you guys having a bike. So people would be passionate about driving. So what makes you to buy a specific bike? I want Pulsar A, B, and C, or whatever is the bike. You know this. You start to put pieces into place where you create a low fidelity design. Low fidelity design is basically in a white paper you put a column, you say, okay, left side I need a logo, right side you use a logout button, I need a application dashboard, I need this, I need this component, I need a submit button, I need a cancel button, whatever it is. That is a low fidelity design. Once that fidelity design is completed, you convert it into a user experience. How your user will experience the entire thing. In our industry, in wherever I'm doing, we never write code until all these documents are included. Because you spend 10 times more money on starting with coding without doing all these documentation. We call it a sign-off. You guys have project review every 2-3 weeks to understand what it is. You know what is the good part about that for as a student? Do you guys know how you may think that is a burden for you because you have to prepare all these documents, go to the teacher and he's going to say, oh, this is not right, maybe this is right. He signs off. The good thing is he or she signs off. You know what? That means he or she has approved that design. And if she comes back to that same page saying, why have you done that? You can say, why have you done this? You have signed off. Correct, right? So this is what happens in a real industry. So we get every piece of this document signed off. We have given everything before we write a piece of code. We get this signed off. So we create this design. Click on the page. So right now this is the clinic what you saw. So someone walks in there. The entire user experience around it is being designed even without writing a single piece of code. This is how. So here the specification of here is like, I know this is a Neo Sans font. This is a font size 22. This is Neo Sans font size 17. So we go to that depth of a clarity so that we will not have to do a rework on the coding. When I'm writing a code, I write it once. So this is the kind of an user experience we create for our customers at the end of the day. So what you do on your project is basically you have done a design, you would have done a low fidelity. Take your friend's help if you guys are not aware of all these things. And I'll talk about the tools which is required to do all these things. So that's the second part of the discussion we'll be doing. So you keep creating all these experiences. Keep doing. So the entire user experience of when a patient comes in, completes his measuring, then we show a video of how to measure your pulse oxygen. Then it starts. It goes to a waiting room. Next. This is how a doctor and patient video call will be. Next. So if they want to do any other adjustments, they can do that. Keep clicking. So every component of it, right from the positive use case to the negative use case. What if the user puts a username wrong? You have to tell him the username is wrong, the password is wrong, and you have to tell it in the right way. It can't be in the same blue color screen saying your username is wrong. If the username is wrong, you have to tell him bold in a red color, boss, what you have done is wrong. That has to be there. So all those kind of pieces are being done and shown up here. So this is the part of UX. So with that, so you have an analysis which is completed. With that, you create all these things. It also helps you to fine tune your DB design, which is very important. So this is basically even before you write an SQL query, we get to a stage where we create all your columns, what it has to be, what it has to refer to, and all those components. So like, for example, I have a table where I say the type has to be UUID. You don't use numbers anymore. Because auto-increment is a problem, this is a problem, that is a problem. So we use a UUID. It is auto-generated. We use JSON as a column. We don't use text. So we store things in a subscript where we have a key pair value mechanism where you don't have to create hundreds of relation items to a table, where you can have one column to store 100 data in a JSON delimited format. So all of these data is part of the design what you're doing. So when you're doing your analysis, you know whom you're going to work with, you know what is the use case you're doing. That gives you more information about what data you need to collect. That is very important, because when you talk with stakeholders, you're not just asking them, am I doing the right problem? You're going to ask them, what is the problem? How am I going to solve it? Is these 10 input enough to solve the problem? Or are you going to need more? And that's where this comes into play. You can go back. So there's a ERB DFT, I think that's a pretty straightforward. There are multiple tools to do this. You guys will be knowing more than what we are doing. So we use Miro. This is a great mind mapping tool which we use. It's free. You can try that. So all what we do is we just create these boxes. There are UML references there for your project. You can use that. You can just go click and start using it. You just put in your input and it's very easy to map and show that. You can show a very big, and it is easy to document. At the end of the day, if you are going to put this in a format, in a Word document, managing it is going to be a pain. And tools like this allows you to do that in a better way, and it's free. What is the very important thing which we do in the design phase? We also do test cases. So we do commercial projects. So at the end of the day, I need to see a exit way for me. What is an exit way for me? I have to be paid for the effort what I have put in. So in your case, you have to complete your degree or say that the project is completed. So your design phase should have test cases saying these 20, you will know this when you have a proper design being done. When you have completed your design right, when you have analysis right, and follow the path for design, you will be able to derive on the items what is your dependency, what is your core dependency. You know what is going to be your bottleneck. If I don't have approval for A, B, and C on this particular date, this project is getting delayed. So that is the kind of a project planning which you can be able to do when you do your analysis and design right. So at last we will come, we are here to explore about the tools which is there. I think these are tools which you may be aware of, maybe not, but you guys can make use of this for your project. All these have a free access, unlimited free access, and few of them already has free access for students when they are logging in from their student email ID. So for prototyping, we use tools like Figma, Adobe's XD, which helps you to create prototypes like what I showed you as an end user diagram. For documentation, you are good to use a Google Doc, which is easier, straightforward, or you can use something like Confluence, which is again a free access. Git Docs, Google Docs, which is again being mentioned there. Jira is another tool which is from Atlassian, which helps you to put these user stories into digital, whatever I just showed you as a document, that can be done in a Jira as a user story, and you can map that along with your project. For test cases, Google Sheet is one easy option, or your spreadsheets. TestTrail is another tool which you can use, which gives you all the inputs, like what should be a test case, what should be a pass, what should be a fail, what is the expected output, and all those things. TestLink is another tool. All these are free tools which you can have free access for a year, not once. For project planning, I'm not sure whether you have access to Project 365, which is the easiest to do it. Or you can also use Jira. Jira has a free access as well, up to 5 users. You guys can create one and try doing that. So when you do these things right, when you do your analysis right, when you get a part to make your design right, which will eventually land in a shape where you can complete your project right. If these two steps are not very formed, if you're not very clear on what you're developing, or if you're not very clear where your design is going to be, or how it is going to be, if you're not able to visualize, if you're not able to put it into a paper and convince someone before you write something, I'm sorry that you have to do some work, get things right so that you will be getting that identity where you will create your identity on whatever you're doing. Thank you guys. That eventually will help you to feel like God when you're done with it.
Thank you, sir. We have just had the privilege of listening to an inspiring guest lecture filled with profound insights and wisdom. We are grateful for the time and effort he has dedicated to enlighten us today. Our words of thanking might not be enough to express our gratitude and respect, sir. Once again, thank you, sir. Now, it is Q&A session, so students are encouraged to raise any doubts to the resource person. If you have any doubts, you can raise your hands. Okay. Students are encouraged to share their feedback about their seminar on system design.
Good evening, sir. I'm Jennifer from second MSc Computer Science. So, to be honest, I would say that entering this hall, I have a mindset of Appada, 3 years Kattapa. That's when I came to this hall. But once you start to speak, sir, it related to us, so related to what we need right now. And the learnings we got today will definitely help in our current phase, that is our mini project, sir. We are currently working on a mini project, sir. And in overall, I would say that this session really helped us to gain a lot in the system analysis and system design, sir. Thank you so much for being here with us in your vacation time and sharing your thoughts and knowledge with us, sir. Thank you so much.
So first of all, I need to thank everybody, so every faculty and staff who are contributed in this seminar, and also for his so for your great knowledge, experience, and real life knowledge too. So I have a doubt, like you have said, first we need to document everything, and then we have to wireframe, like locality. So is that necessary to design it through like a Figma? So Figma is for design for user experience, UI, and UX. Is that necessary? So time will actually around 3-4 months. So I have designed roughly. So so next one the Figma development.
So what I would advise is if you are really looking to do your project on time, you have to do this entire process. Otherwise, what happens is you will end up spending more time in coding. You will not see what happens is it is basic understanding. When you see something, when you see something, it is easy to achieve it. So when your vision is not very clear, when it is blurry, you will not get there. When you are going there, you will see a lot of other options, and you will get carried away from that. So what I would strongly recommend is get things visualized properly. So by visualization, you need to put things into the right phase. So if you're doing a web portal, you have to know all 10 different modules, or 2 modules, or 3 modules, whatever module you're going to have. So make sure what columns you're going to have. Don't have it anything blurry, including the user interface. So that gives you more time to focus on coding when you're writing the code. At the end of the day, in a real life project, you're not going to use any of these, you're not going to be the one who's going to be doing every bits and pieces of it. There's going to be departments going to be handling it. If your option to open up, or you're looking for an option to be a developer, then you're just going to restrict yourself to that development or with that language henceforth in your lifetime. But to go there and understand the other departments, you have to understand what they do as well. So this phase of your project, when you are doing a mini project where you are doing all by yourself, this gives you an hands-on of everything. Maybe you are not good in everything, but it will give you, this is a learning phase. No one is going to pay you based on that. It's a learning phase. There's nothing wrong doing it wrong. You can fail, but you can still get learned, or you can keep learning on that. So I would advise you strongly to do document, that is, visualize everything, put it in a nice way where it can be presented, and then you go to the development. At the end of the day, if you're not even able to complete a development, you can still say, this is what I have been planning to do. I am 80% from that, 70% from that, 90% from that. So you know, when you are showing that, you are telling your people, whomever is examining you, saying that, okay, I had a vision, this is where I am, I'm on my part, you guys have come here now, you can see this, allowing me to do another 2 weeks of job, I'm going to be there. That makes life easier. Thank you.
Sorry to disturb. All the third years are expected to go to their respective classes, please. All the third years, you can go to your respective class. For the PG, you can continue with the interactive session. Yeah, you may ask your question so that you may clarify. Okay, since it is a important phase for you to design your system, so you may ask your questions.
Is it over now, sir? We have another 1 hour, right?
So, hello sir, I'm sure that it was actually a great seminar, and actually excuse us for disturbing your vacation time, but we MSc second year actually missed your previous meeting slides. We expected those to be here, but still it's fine. One more thing I wanted to ask is, apart from the seminar system design topic, since you are a CEO of a company, what tips or advices or setbacks that we have to get through in order to actually become a CEO? Because I think every one of you actually wish to become a CEO of some company of some sort. So what your advice, tips and setbacks that you have faced so that we can learn from them?
So actually, I would say it is always good to be on the top plane. So I love to be on the top plane. So that's the reason I chose it. The path you take for that is something what is going to be different. So I took it right from the day when I stepped out of this college. I formed my company immediately after completing my UG. So I completed my UG in 2010 in Loyola. So after my final classes and exams, I formed my company sitting in the, there's a volleyball ground there in this backside of the church. So we had our arbitrator to come down here. We signed, all 5 members of our team signed together and we started our company. So the path what I took was not the right path, I would say, because the learning what I had then was zero. I didn't have any exposure to industry. We don't know people, we don't know process. We never had a process. So unless you have the courage to do that, I wouldn't say that I wouldn't ask you to do that. So for example, maybe your brother or your dad already runs a software tech firm and you are taking over that as a CEO after your UG. Maybe they would not allow it, but if they allow, then go ahead and do it. Startup is a moment you can do that, but for that, the kind of nerves you need to have. So we have learned, we have lost, we have done a lot of things. So it's not an easy part to be there. What I would always advise people of your stage is to go get a job, because that's very important. At the end of the day, you need a day job. You need to be paying your bills by yourself first, and then you can start your entrepreneurial thing. And to have an entrepreneurial journey, you need to make sure you solve the right problem at the end of the day. Because when you don't solve the right problem, you are not going to make money. Your product is getting validated. When your product is getting validated, that's going to take a big phase of your life where you're going to be not having any money. And that's not a really good phase to be. So I've gone through that journey. We are really doing something wow from the day one. It never started like that. We don't start like that as well. So technically when we started for the first 3 years, we had $0 company. We had zero revenue. We had people to work for us. And we were spending. We had started, at that juncture, we had started 3 different other companies as well. So I've been part of a couple of other junctures, a couple of other ventures as well. I have been part of an e-commerce company called Allwyn, where we floated around some people. We lost around almost 60-70 lakhs in just a year. So it's not an easy part unless you have it now. The best idea is to go grab a job, because that's very important. You have to take care of your family. You have to create an identity. You have to pay your bills. So I would advise you to go grab a job and follow your passion, because what job teaches you is a process. You would not be adhering to a process today here. Even if I've been talking about security reviews and this and that, you will not. People would be selling websites. So the moment immediately after college, what all you can do is develop a website, develop a mobile application, A, B, and C. But who's going to pay for it? You can do as a freelancer. Maybe some US companies pay you $20 per hour, $30 per hour. Yeah, good. But would you be able to convert it as a process? No. Because you lack the resources, you lack the infrastructure, you lack the education around it, which industry would teach you, which corporate would teach you. So getting there is to learn and then you leave. So that would be the advice that I would always recommend.
So, apart from this seminar, I want to ask a general question. So, what would be the experience you would gain when we finish our colleges? Because when we joined MSc, I did my UG year and PG year. So, in the UG, they told that you will be PhD and you will get a great life. But when we joined PG first year, the last year, every staff who came to the class told, PG, வேலை கிடைக்காது, placement வராது. But those were the words which the PG students were told when I joined PG first. So what would be the expectations of the industry, because we've been in the industry so far, what would the industry expect from postgraduates?
So basically, there are a couple of things that I would say. So there's a myth that PG people don't get a job. Maybe true, maybe not. At the end of the day, your PG is to do two things. You're not learning a lot of things in PG because your 1 year is going on project. Okay, so the placements are purely going to be based on what you are going to deliver. So if you are going to do a project which is again going to look like a UG project, there's no sense in that. So that's the reason even institutes now make sure that people put in their time for their project. They understand what they're doing. Because when I was studying, I did my MCA as well. So when I was doing, it's a 3 year course. At the time I was not in the college, that's a different story. But it's a 3 year course. I took that course for one thing because I started my UG. My people at home started to pester me because I said, I'm going to start my company, and I've started my company. Isn't okay, you have started your company, you're not making any revenues, you are a $0 company, you are running around some fantasy stories. Don't waste your time, go to a college and do this as well along with that. So for me, MCA was that. So what I have learned from that is a different story. So your PG, your focus should be on your final year project. So whatever you are doing now is gonna help you sell yourself, your people, your interviewers. So that's the reason I keep telling, doing a problem, see, identifying a problem and telling that this is what the project is one story, and telling them in the right way. So the correct example சொல்லணும்னா அண்ணனுக்கு ஒரு ஊத்தாப்பத்துக்கும் ஊத்தாப்பத்துக்கு மேலே இதை போடு அதை போடு பொடியை போடு இப்படி வரட்டு இதில் 4 பேர் எண்ணெயை ஊற்று இப்போ இந்த மாதிரி நீங்கள் உங்கள் ப்ராஜெக்டை நீங்கள் எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ண முடியாது. யூ ஆர் மோர் வேல்யூ. அண்ணனுக்கு ஊத்தாப்பம்னு சொல்லும்போது ஏன் அண்ணனுக்கு ஊத்தாப்பம் தட்ஸ் இட் யூ வாண்ட் அன் ஊத்தாப்பம். இட் டசன்ட் கனெக்ட் மீ லைக் பீப்புள் லைக் மீ வர் இன்டர்வியூவிங். What they understand, what we expect from people is very simple. We need to understand whether they are aware of trends which is happening out in the market. Okay, well, when you can choose for a best dating place with your partner, when you can research for the best dress in the online, when you can research for A, B, and C product online, Nike, இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு மேக்கப் கிட் வந்திருக்கு, ஸ்மட்ச் ஃப்ரீ லிப்ஸ்டிக் வந்திருக்கு, அது வந்திருக்கு, இங்கே 2000 ரூபாய் கிடைக்குது, இங்கே 400 ரூபாய் கிடைக்குது. இந்த மாதிரி ரிசர்ச் நீங்கள் வந்து உங்களால் இன்னைக்கு உங்ககிட்ட இருக்கிற ஒரு சின்ன மொபைலால் பண்ண முடிய போது what we expect is we expect more from you. When you guys are so clear in few things what you are doing, which is your request today, when you guys are so clear on that part today, as a company, as a corporate, what we expect is we want you to be very clear on the job what you are doing as well. So we want you to understand not just your basic PHP, no, that is not what we are expecting. What we are expecting is we want you to have at least open-minded thought on understanding what is there in the industry. And try to implement that. So, for example, web application பண்றீங்க அப்படின்னு சொன்னீங்க. வெப் அப்ளிகேஷன் பண்ணும்போது நீங்கள் வெப் அப்ளிகேஷன் பண்ணுறேன் அப்படின்னு சொன்னது வந்து இட்ஸ் குட் சைன், ஓகே, இட்ஸ் குட் ப்ராஜெக்ட். பட் அதை எப்படி பண்ண போகிறீங்க? இந்த ப்ராஜெக்ட் வந்துட்டு விஎம்ல ரன் பண்ண போகிறீங்களா? இந்த குபர்னெட்டிஸ் வச்சு ஒரு டாக்கர் மாதிரி வச்சு ரன் பண்ண போகிறீங்களா? மைக்ரோ சர்வீஸ் ஆர்கிடெக்சரில் ரன் பண்ண போகிறீங்களா? இதில் வந்து ஏபிஐஸ் இருக்குது, தேர்ட் பார்ட்டி டேட்டாபேஸ் இருக்குது, மாங்கோ டிபி இருக்குது. See, you may not be doing 100% on all of these things. We are not expecting 100% of it as well. But if you have taken that effort to understand what it is and try to implement in your project, people are ready to take it. That's all what people are looking for. In the corporate panningalum, idha edurpaakranga, vera edhu perusa edurpaakala. All what they are expecting is what you know more from the herd where you are coming from. நீங்க இருக்கிற மந்தையில இருந்து உங்களுக்கு என்ன அடிஷனலா தெரியும் அப்படின்னு எதிர்பார்க்கலாம். And you are being paid for that. You know, there are people, masters முடிச்சவங்க வெறும் 15,000 rupees salary குள்ள join பண்ணவங்க இருக்காங்க. There are people who are joining for 15 lakh salary as well. When I say 15 lakhs, it is like almost 1.2 lakhs per annum, per month, 1.2 lakhs. That's join பண்ணவங்க இருக்காங்க. It is how you want to differentiate yourself. Whatever you have done until now, it's marks. Okay, யாரும் வந்து உங்களை வந்துட்டு ஓகே ஆப்ரேட்டிங் சிஸ்டம் நீங்கள் படிச்சிருக்கீங்க, இது எங்கே பண்ணுறீங்க அப்படின்னு யாரும் கேட்க போகிறது. அது எல்லாமே எங்கே ரிஃப்ளெக்ட் ஆக போகுதுன்னா உங்கள் ப்ராஜெக்ட். whatever you are going to do, it's going to reflect. It is going to tell you whether you have listened to all those things. Right? Are you putting those basic understanding into play to design the structure up forward? இங்கே இதில் யாராவது ஐஆட் பண்ணுற ப்ராஜெக்ட் பண்ணுறவங்க இருக்கீங்களா? ஐஆட், எம்எல், ஏஐ, டேட்டா சயின்ஸ், டீப் லேர்னிங் பண்ணுறீங்க. என்ன டூல் யூஸ் பண்ண பிளான் பண்ணியிருக்கீங்க?
டிசைட் பண்ணல சார். டிசைட் பண்ணல, இப்போ தான் அனலைஸ் பண்ணுறேன்.
Actually, there's a lot of scope around it. When you guys are doing it, make sure that you use the right tools, because what makes your life easy are the tools. Deep learning learning scratch you're not doing a research project here. All what you're doing is an application at the end of the day. So you are going to take a data, make sure that the data is legitimate or put to a format. I think that girl did a good job the other day. On the second webinar, Lalita. She was explaining it because she is doing that, and I think she has done a good job on a PG project as well. So when you do things right, I think she's based in a very good company. And to answer your question, is not just 1 year senior is being placed in a good job. She did a good project. And another day, what matters is how you show yourself different. IoT yada pandringa, IoT Internet of Devices. Hey, this shy aadradhukku apdi you guys should have been in this. No one is doing any IoT projects. So basically, Internet of Devices. So on the mobile phone controlled fans, Alexa மூலமா ஒரு சில விஷயங்களை கண்ட்ரோல் பண்றீங்க. இந்த மாதிரி ப்ராஜெக்ட்ஸ் ஏதாவது பண்றீங்களா, which is going to have an impact to your life and others' life. IoT. School life. என்னமா? School life IoT. Okay. என்ன ப்ராஜெக்ட் பண்ணீங்க?
Alexa controls all over computer lab.
Okay. School learning.
Yes.
இப்போ இங்க என்ன பண்றாங்க? First year. Oh, first year. Okay. Good. That's good. நான் வந்துட்டு லாயலாக படிக்கும்போது நான் என்ன பேப்பர் ப்ரெசென்ட் பண்ணியிருந்தேன். அந்த பேப்பர் வந்துட்டு ஸ்மார்ட் கார்டு அப்படின்னு. அந்த டைமில் சிப் பேஸ்ட் கார்ட்ஸ் வந்துட்டு வெரி இனிஷியல் ஸ்டேஜ். ஸோ யூ கேன் ஸ்டோர் அப் டு 32 KB of data. The idea is to convert your ID card into a chip-based card. So it can be used for every attendance. So basically attendance. Proxy அப்படிங்கிறத பற்றி, ப்ராக்ஸினா என்னது? Attendance. So the idea was to propose a foolproof proxy attendance system. We did something. It is ICMS, International Computer Science and Mathematics Society of Loyola College. International journal, I've been one of the authors there. என்னோட ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இயரில் நான் பிஎஸ்சி கம்ப்யூட்டர் சயின்ஸ் படிக்கும்போது ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இயர் செகண்ட் இயர் எனக்கு ஒரு சீனியர் இருந்தார். அவருக்கு வந்துட்டு இந்த மாதிரி எதாவது பண்ணணுன்ற ஆசை, எனக்கு இந்த மாதிரி ஏதாவது எழுதணுன்ற ஆசை. ரெண்டு பேரும் சேர்ந்து மெட்டா அப்போ ஹெச்ஓடியாக இருந்தவங்க வந்துட்டு டாக்டர் ஃப்ரான்சிஸ் தேவராஜ் சார். அவங்க I'm still in touch with them as well. So அவங்க கூட அவங்களோட ஒமான் யூனிவர்சிட்டியில் கூட have done some research works, published some papers and things like that. அப்போது வந்துட்டு ஒரு ஸ்மார்ட் கார்டு இருந்தால் ஐடி கார்டை ஸ்மார்ட் கார்டாக பார்த்தோன்னா என்ன ஆகும் அப்படின்ட்டு ஒரு ப்ராஜெக்ட் ப்ரப்போஸ் பண்ணி அப்போது we presented in ICMS society here. ஒரு இன்டர்நேஷனல் ஜேர்னலில் we have published பேப்பர்லாம் எழுதியிருக்கேன். ஸோ ஸ்மார்ட் கார்டு மூலமாக என்ன பண்ண முடியும், அதில் வந்து யூட்டிலிட்டிஸ்லாம் எடுத்தோம். ஸோ இதை வந்துட்டு வெண்டிங் மிஷின் யூஸ் பண்ண முடியும். அப்போ கேண்டீனுக்கு உள்ளே போகிற நினைக்கு வந்துட்டு இந்த டோக்கன் கொடுப்பாங்க. இப்போ அப்படியா என்னன்னு தெரியல, பைசா கொடுத்தா ஒரு பச்சை கலர் டோக்கன், ரெட் கலர் டோக்கன். அப்போது கேண்டீனோட டெலிகசிஸ் வந்து எக் பரோட்டா, அப்புறம் பிரிஞ்சி மாதிரி ஒரு ஐட்டம், அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு 4-5 ஐட்டம், அதுக்கு ஒரு டிஃப்ரெண்ட் டைப் ஆஃப் காயின்ஸ் இருக்கும். ஸோ இதெல்லாம் வீட்டில் இருந்தே ஃபண்ட் பண்ணிட்டாங்கன்னா அந்த கார்டு பைசா ஹோல்ட் பண்ணோம், எங்கே வேணுமோ யூஸ் பண்ணிக்கலாம் அப்படின்ட்டு ஒரு அட்டெண்டன்ஸ்க்கும் இந்த மாதிரி பர்ச்சேஸ்க்கும் லைப்ரரிக்கும். லைப்ரரியில் இப்போ ஸ்கேன் பண்ணுறாங்கன்னு நினைக்கிறேன் QR கோட் வச்சு. நான் படிக்கும்போது என்னோட ஐடி கார்டில் இது வந்து 2010 வந்துட்டு என்னோட ஐடி கார்டு மாற்றும்போது QR கோட் வந்து அதுக்கு முன்னாடி QR கோடு ஒரு சார் பார் கோடு. ஸோ அதுக்கு முன்னாடி வந்து அவங்க வந்து லைப்ரரியில் வந்து டைப் தான் பண்ணாங்க, நம்பர் டைப் பண்ணாங்க. ஸோ அதுக்காக அதில் வந்து ஸ்மார்ட் கார்டு இருந்தால் எப்படி இருக்கும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி டிஜிட்டல் லைப்ரரின்னு ஒரு I'm not sure whether you still have that. ஸோ அதுக்கு ஆக்சஸ்க்கும் ஐடி கார்டு கொடுத்துட்டு போகணும். அதுக்காக வந்து we propose something like that. நம்ம காலேஜ்க்கு யூஸ்ஃபுல்லாக இருக்கும்.
Now implemented in the canteen.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we got a separate card.
Oh, okay, loyalty card.
Canteen. Yeah, super.
Where are the questions? Any questions?
Two of our students are doing IoT projects. Can I ask them? Marshall Koushik.
என்ன பண்றீங்க? ஸ்மார்ட் ஹோம் ஆட்டோமேஷன். என்ன மாதிரி போர்டு யூஸ் பண்ணலாம்? தினமுவா, ES கண்டக்டிவா? அது என்ன பண்றீங்க? அதனோட ப்ளூடூத் வராது, இங்கே வைஃபை வராது. யூ ஹேவ் டு ஹேவ் பட் ESP that you training of here. ESP that you do. அதனோட மாதிரி ESP that you do. அதில் வந்து உங்களால் வைஃபையும் எனேபிள் பண்ண முடியும். What happens is in that case you can get so home automation என்ன பண்ண முடியும், லைட்ஸ், ஸ்விட்சஸ், டிவிஸ் இதெல்லாம் ஆஃப் பண்ணி ஆன் பண்ணுற மாதிரி. பட் ஆனால் இதெல்லாம் வந்து ரொம்ப காமனாக இருக்கிற ஒரு ஏன்னா இன்னைக்கு தேதியில் if you are spending some 30,000-40,000 rupees more on for a room, you can get this as a ready-made product இல்லையா? அப்போ அதில் what kind of innovation are you going to share there? I'm not discouraging you doing that. What I'm asking you is, when you are doing something, make sure that you stand out of it. Don't be one among the crowd. Try checking out. Home automation is one industry. Okay, it is more of that is like to be technically speaking, it is exploited already. Like there are hundreds and hundreds of people who are doing this as a project. College வந்து எல்லா இடத்துலையும் இம்ப்ளிமெண்ட் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காங்க. ஸோ அதனால ட்ரை டு சூஸ் சம்திங் விச் இஸ் மோர் ஈஸியர் பெட்டர் விச் இஸ் மோர் ஃபன். நீங்கள் என்ன பண்ணுறீங்க? உடனே மார்ஷலா
Arun.
My name is Koushik.
கௌஷிக்.
Bluetooth control wireless notice board. அது கண்ட்ரோல் வயர்லெஸ் நோட்டீஸ் போர்டு. அது ஆக்சுவலி வந்து இருக்கிற ப்ராஜெக்ட் தான். அது என்ன பண்ணலான்னு இருக்கேன்னா, அது ஆக்சுவலி நோட்டீஸ் போர்டு மட்டும் இல்லாமல் அதில் மைக்கும் ஒரு கேமரா இன்ஸ்டால் பண்ணலாம் ஒரு ஆப்ஷன் கொடுக்கலான்ட்டு. அது வந்து இது வந்து எப்படி நார்மல் கேஸ் வந்து யூஸ் பண்ணுவாங்க. சப்போஸ் நிறைய என்கொயரிஸ் ஏதாவது சைபர் கிரைம்ஸ்க்காக கண்டுபிடிக்கிறதுக்காக வைக்கணும். இப்போ ஏதாவது வச்சு அந்த வாய்ஸ் ஏதாவது ட்ரேஸ் பண்ணணும், டாக்குமெண்ட்ஸ் இங்கெல்லாம் வச்சுருக்காங்க அப்படின்னா சின்னதாக ஒரு நோட்டீஸ் போர்டு மாதிரி வந்துச்சு. அதை வச்சுட்டோன்னா சுற்றி ஒரு 100 மீட்டர்ஸ்க்கு என்னென்ன பேசுகிறாங்கன்னா அது கரெக்டாக கேப்சர் ஆகி கொடுக்கும். அது இப்போ ஃபால்ஸ் இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் கூட இருக்கலாம், இல்லை ட்ரூ இன்ஃபர்மேஷன். இட் கேன் பி யூஸ்ஃபுல் ஃபார் இன்வெஸ்டிகேஷன் எனி கேசஸ். அதாவது
like spying device.
ஸ்பைங் டிவைஸ். இப்போதான் நான் யோசித்தேன், நீங்கள் சொல்லும் போது
spine device, you do your research. The thing is, all these are ready-made products available. You will not be able to show a lot of difference in what you're doing. At the end of the day, எல்லாருமே வந்துட்டு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஒரே ஐடியாவில் ஃபோக்கஸ் பண்ணி ஒர்க் பண்ணுவாங்க, நிறைய பேர் பண்ணுவாங்க. ஆனால் who shines out is who are showing some difference around it. So check for something is available. Now bottle இருந்து எல்லாத்துலேயுமே வந்து right now we have cameras and spying devices. And again, check on the ethics side of it. Because you're talking about spying. So you need to be like today, you guys are aware of OpenAI, right? OpenAI and ChatGPT. So you know the founder's talk. He said he's literally afraid where this can take. Immediately, அன்னைக்கு கொஞ்ச நாள் முன்னாடி இந்த ChatGPT இமேஜஸ் ஜெனரேட் பண்ண ஆரம்பிச்ச உடனே ட்ரம்ப், ஜோ பைடன், அதுக்கப்புறம் முகேஷ் அம்பானி, அனில் அம்பானி, இவங்க எல்லாரையும் வச்சு வந்து ஒரு உண்மையான சித்திர மாதிரியே மும்பை ஸ்லம்ஸ்ல அவங்களாம் இருந்தால் அப்படி இருக்கும் அப்படின்ட்டு ஒரு இமேஜ் வந்து ஆன்லைனில் வந்தது. ஸோ திஸ் you have to, when you are doing something as a creator, you also have to hold the ethical responsibility. You are doing something. நீங்க ஒரு நல்ல காரணத்துக்காக தான் பண்ணிருக்கீங்க. But you need to also make sure how ethically it can be put into play and things like that. So do your research around it. But this is something very different from what I am doing. So I have nothing much to do. எல்லாரும் உங்கள் ப்ராஜெக்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம் செலக்ட் பண்ணிட்டீங்களா? ஃபைனல் யாரெல்லாம் ஃபைனல் எழுதுல? இன்னும் என்ன 40 minutes இருக்கு. நீங்கள் கேட்கல, நான் கேட்குறேன். ஃபைனல் இயர் நீங்கள் ஒவ்வொருத்தராக ஜஸ்ட் டெல் மீ அபவுட் வாட் யூ ஆர் பிளானிங் டு டு அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் if I say I know that you might set up a seminar or a workshop.
சார் தேங்க்யூ. ஒரு சிம்பிளான ஒரு ட்ரெடிஷ்னல் ப்ராஜெக்டாக எடுத்திருக்கேன். இப்போ வெரி ஓல்டு பட் தென் எனக்கு அந்த ப்ராஜெக்ட் பண்ணுறதுக்கு எனக்கு ஒரு கான்ஃபிடென்ஸ் நேச்சுரலாகவே வர மாட்டேங்குது. என்னன்னு தெரியல. I have to do a lot of hard work தெரியல. But then I feel personally I lack அந்த கரிக்குலத்துக்கும் நீங்கள் சொல்கிறது ப்ராக்டிக்கல் அந்த ப்ராஜெக்ட் பண்ணுற அளவுக்கு I feel there's a lot of gap. Whatever you have said, the process, you already studied in the
definitely usually
you have studied that engineering, software engineering. But then putting into practice, அது என்னால் அந்த எஃபர்ட் எடுத்து செய்யறதுக்கு வந்து ரொம்ப பெருசாக தெரியுது எனக்கு. ஒவ்வொரு முறையும் when people come and share their like this same manner people come and share from the industry, you have to do the analysis, design and these steps are like அதெல்லாம் கேட்கும்போது ரொம்ப பெருசாக தெரியுது. இதெல்லாம் பயமாக இருக்குது. இதெல்லாம் பண்ண முடியுமா? இருக்கிற அந்த 3 மாதம் கேப் சேவ்ஸ் 3 months. பட் தென் இந்த 3 monthsல பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஒர்க்கிங் டேஸ் அல்லது நம்ம அதர் ஸ்டடீஸ் சப்ஜெக்ட்ஸோட ரிலேட் பண்ணி பார்க்கும்போது யூ டோன்ட் ஹேவ் டைம் அண்ட் யூ ஆல்சோ மீட் த டெட்லைன்ஸ். இந்த நாட்டில் போய் கையெழுத்து வாங்கிட்டு வந்துடணும், அந்த நாட்டில் போயிட்டு ஏமாத்திட்டு ஏதோ நாங்கள் இருந்து தேடி எடுத்து போட்டு அப்படிதான் பண்ண தோணுது வழிய. பட் ஆஸ் ஆஃப் லேர்னிங் அது பண்ண முடியல. திஸ் இஸ் ஒன் பாயிண்ட். Secondly, is it good to do a simple project and learn for myself, for my growth, or as you said, ChatGPT, IoT, machine learning, artificial intelligence, இதெல்லாம் தெரிஞ்சிட்டாதான் எனக்கு வேலை கிடைக்கும். அதனால நான் வந்து அந்த மாதிரி ப்ராஜெக்ட் எடுத்து பண்றது நல்லது.
Okay, I'll answer you. So நீங்க வந்து are you planning to do your net and set kind of a thing? Are you planning to teach it? I understood from your. So you definitely need to practice honesty. You need to put in your effort there. Otherwise, what will happen is next year you will be teaching there. Net இங்கேயோ அதை டீச் பண்ண உங்களுக்கு ஒரு ஸ்டூடெண்ட்டை நீங்கள் கைட் பண்ணுறதுக்கு it will be difficult. Unless you go through that journey, you will not be able to do that. சரிங்களா? So to get you a right straightforward thing, there is no shortcut for anything. So you have to go through the process. Okay? But the process வந்துட்டு ஒவ்வொருத்தருக்கும் ஒரு கேலிபர் இருக்கும். ஓகேவா? இங்கே உங்கள் கிளாஸ்லேயே ஒருத்தவங்களால ஒரு ஃபார்மை இந்த 3 மாதத்தில் முடித்தா அப்பா நான் இதை பண்ணிட்டேன் அப்படின்னு நினைக்க முடியும். ஒருத்தரால் ஒரு ஒரு காம்ப்ளிகேட்டட் ஸ்ட்ரக்சர் டேட்டா ஸ்ட்ரக்சர் எடுத்து அதை அனலைஸ் பண்ணி அதிலிருந்து ரிப்போர்ட் ஜென்ரேட் பண்ணி அதை ஒரு 4 டூலுக்கு அனுப்பி அதிலிருந்து எடுத்துகிட்டு வர்றது ஐ ஜஸ்ட் டிட் இட் அப்படின்னு சொல்கிற ஒரு கேலிபர் உள்ளவங்களும் இருக்குது. ஸோ தெர் இஸ் சம்திங் கால் ஈக்குவலிட்டி அண்ட் ஈக்விட்டி. ஓகே, ஸோ வி நீட் டு பி ஈக்விட்டி நாட் ஈக்வாலிட்டி. ரெண்டுத்துக்கும் மீனிங் வேறு. ஓகேவா? யூ cannot, everyone cannot be everything at any given point of time. So you need to learn your strengths and weaknesses. That is what you have been doing all these days. So உங்களுக்கு நீங்கள் வந்து உண்மையாக இருங்க. உங்களோட ப்ராசஸ் உங்களால் 4 ஃபார்ம் தான் பண்ண முடியும், என்னால் இப்படி தான் பண்ண முடியும் அப்படின்னா அந்த 4 ஃபார்ம் பண்ணுங்கள். ஆனால் அந்த 4 ஃபார்மை என்னை விட வேறு எவனும் பெட்டராக பண்ணிக்க முடியாதுங்கிற அளவுக்கு பண்ணுங்க. நான் சொல்ல புரியுதுங்களா? So if you are doing just 4 forms, very simple application, let it be. For example, I think இங்கே நிறைய ரோமன் கத்தோலிக் பிள்ளைங்க இருப்பீங்க நான் நம்புகிறேன். No one had thought about an application which could be used by a diocese. Today, you know, one of the biggest system or an institution in the world, one of the is our Catholic, Roman Catholic system. You know, today, if our Chennai diocese, Chennai எத்தனை பேர் இருக்கீங்க, ஆஸ்திரேலியா எத்தனை பேர் இருக்கீங்க, so any diocese, if they wanted to take a record of all male above age of 30 who got their baptism between August and April or August and November of 2020, ரிப்போர்ட் எடுக்கணும் அப்படின்னா அவங்க எத்தனை புக்ஸு தேடணும் அப்படிங்கிறது தெரியுமா? இன்னைக்கு கூட உங்கள் சர்ச்சில் there's no software. உங்கள் சர்ச்சில் கொடுக்குற பேப்டிசம் சர்டிஃபிகேட்ஸ் ஆர் ஆல் ஹேண்ட் ரிட்டன். டு யூ நோ தட்? நான் என்னோட பையனுக்கு என் சொந்த ஒரு திருநெல்வேலி அங்கே வந்து நான் ஞானஸ்தானம் கொடுத்துருந்தேன். பேப்பர்லாம் நாங்கள் எந்த பேப்பருமே நான் சேவ் பண்ணதே கிடையாது, எல்லாம் ஃபோட்டோ தான். ஸ்கூலில் பேப்பர்லாம் பண்ண முடியாதுன்ட்டாங்க. I had to go down there to take an extract of this thing. And you know how much time it took? 3 days. அந்த வருஷத்துலேயே மொத்தமாக வந்துட்டு ஒரு 200-250 பிள்ளைங்க கூட எங்கள் கிராமத்தில் வந்து பேப்டிசம் கொடுக்கல. ஆனால் it took 3 days for the priest to find out, take the thing. அவர் இன்னொரு பேப்பரில் திரும்பி எக்ஸ்ட்ராக்ட் ஆஃப் த பேப்டிசம் சர்டிஃபிகேட் எழுதி கொடுத்தாங்க. Maybe if someone knows the base around it, that could be a project. Today, biggest records what a church holds or records is baptism, marriage, confirmation, priesthood, families or sanda. You have subscriptions. 500 families, you are not being given assistant direction because there is salary and other remuneration and other things involved in that. So the challenge is I can see my parish priest suffering a lot to get one additional priest for a Sunday. And Sunday is the Munasa day. Like all the priests are full. They have to take some father from some Gyani Illam or somewhere, some old priest, and taking him from there to here, and the way he take the sermon, putting it together. He feels a super exhaustive process. அந்த மனுஷன் ஒரு பூசை வைக்காமல் வெளியே எங்கேயோ போய் ப்ளஸ் பண்ண போகணும், வேறு ஏதோ ஒன்று பண்ணணும். இல்லை அட்மினிஸ்ட்ரேட்டிவ் ஒர்க்கே ஒரு சர்ச்சில் எவ்வளோ வேலை இருக்குது. ரைட்டும் புக் கீப்பிங். அன்றைக்கி தான் மறுநாள் ஸ்கூலில் ஏதோ ஒரு பேப்பர் கேட்டிருப்பாங்க, அந்த பேப்பர் அவர் எழுதி கொடுத்து சாமியார் ஒழுங்காக பண்ணலாம் வேறு கம்ப்ளைண்ட். நான் போனேன், எனக்கு பண்ணலை, அவனுக்கு பண்ணிட்டான், அவளுக்கு பண்ணிட்டான், all these things. So that bookkeeping could be an option. If you have I have not seen, I have done my schooling in Secretary Institute, but Chennai diocese கிடையாது. I even had heard somewhere there were some records. It's all in books. Digitizing this is going to be a very big project. Some sitting in Loyola talking from here, if someone is going to pick up this as a project, this could be the next ERP for churches, for dioceses. You can connect dioceses together. This can be feeding your matrimonial data and the matrimonial records. In India, the biggest problem is when you're planning for marriage plans, we have zero clarity. I can just go talk with my parish priest saying that I need to get married. Where are they going to check? Unless someone comes and talks about me, no father, our gate adukku prachana irukku,
our below where a problem is no. So if these records are going to be somewhere centralizedly connected, and if it is being holded by the authorities, this is going to be a big project. Maybe this could excite you if this is to do something here. Maybe you guys have it, solutions have it, but I don't see Chennai as it.
He's going to connect all the alumni.
Okay. So
I-
alumni connect any other product. Okay. Go ahead, sorry.
I have taken an alumni project, alumni portal for the department, just for learning purpose. ஒரு ஆசைனால எனக்கு இந்த மாதிரி பெரிய ப்ராஜெக்ட்லாம் பண்ணணும்ன்ற ஆசை நிறைய இருக்கு. Different ideas, as you said. These are all difficulties that we face in the church, in the parish. We also have a system for parish administration within the parish. How we can digitalize all the records, how we can retrieve those things. People have already done it. Thing is, people have not used it. They have to spend money on it. Because of those reasons, it is not still.
Yeah, I understand. Because even when a father has to type a recommendation letter today, like my school, where every time when there is a forms being done, these poor people have to keep writing letters after letters. I may be applying for 10 colleges, may have not taken the right mark, but he has all the rights to give me all the papers. So he has to write it for 10 times or print it 10 times. It's a pain, but it's a good thing. You guys can. If someone has not yet finalized the project, think about it. It could be a new path which you are right. But projects. At the end of the day, when a project is getting successful, is making users to use it. ஒரு சாஃப்ட்வேர் நீங்கள் பண்ணிடலாம், அந்த சாஃப்ட்வேர் யூஸ் பண்ணாமல் அது அப்படியே இருக்குன்னா இட்ஸ் நாட் கனஸ் வெரி பர்பஸ் கிடைக்கும். டெவலப் பண்ண உங்களுக்கும் இருக்க போகிறது இல்லை, நீங்கள் யாருக்கு கொடுத்தீங்களோ இல்லை யாருக்கு கொடுத்தீங்களோ அவங்களுக்கும் யூஸ் பண்ணுவாங்க. ஸோ அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டிங் த ரைட் ப்ராப்ளம். ஸோ மேபி ஐ தாட் இட் வாஸ் நாட் தேர், அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு சிஸ்டமே இல்லைன்னு நினச்சேன். பட் தேர் இஸ் ஆல்ரெடி தேர், மேபி ஐ ஆம் நாட் அவேர் ஆஃப். தட்ஸ் இட் இஸ். வேற சிஸ்டம் சைடு அப்ளிகேஷன்ஸ் யாரெல்லாம் பண்ணுவாங்க? சர்வீசஸ் சிஸ்டம்னா விண்டோஸ் அப்ளிகேஷன் மாதிரி, ஷெல் அப்ளிகேஷன் மாதிரி. சங்கர் ஓகே காலேஜ் மாஸ்க் போடுறதுனால தான் உங்களுக்கு ரொம்ப கஷ்டமா இருக்கும்.
எல்லாரும் சொல்றாங்க.
காலேஜ் அண்டர்கிராஜுவேட் படிக்கிற மென்டரிங் செஷன் இருக்குது சார். ஆனால் ஒரு ஆஃபீஸ்க்கும் போயிட்டு ஏதாவது கன்செஷன் பண்ணோம், இல்லை ஃபர்ஸ்ட் பாஸ் இதெல்லாம் வாங்கினா எல்எஸ்எஸ் பிளேஸ்மெண்ட் ஆஃபீஸ் தனியாக போகிறாங்க சார். அங்கே போகிறப்போ 5 பேர் இருந்தால் தான் ஒருத்தவங்களுக்கு கொடுப்போம் ட்ரெயின் பாஸ், ஏன்னா ஒரு ஃபார்ம் ஃபில் பண்ணுறதுன்னு சொல்கிறாங்க. இதில் கன்செஷன் பண்ணோன்னா வேறு ஒரு ஃபார்ம் சொல்லுங்க. ஆனால் இதெல்லாம் வந்து யூஸில் மென்டர்னா 20 ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் ஒரு மென்டர்னு சொல்லிட்டு கொடுத்துட்டு அவங்க மென்டர் கைட் பண்ணுற மாதிரி அவங்க போய் பண்ணலாம். இப்போ ப்ராஜெக்ட் எங்களுக்கு எப்படி கைட் எடுக்கிறாங்களோ அது மாதிரி ஒரு கிளாஸ் எடுக்கிறாங்க. இதே வந்து ஆன்லைனில் பண்ணாங்கன்னா ஈஸியாக இருக்கும். ஒன்று காலேஜில் சொல்லிடுறாங்க, சரி இப்போ மென்டர் பண்ணுறதெல்லாம் வந்து டாக்குமெண்ட்டாக நீங்கள் சொன்ன மாதிரி ரெக்கார்டு எதுவுமே இல்லை, ஆனால் இதெல்லாம் ரெக்கார்டு காமிக்கணும் நீங்கள் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி. அதாவது ஆன்லைனில் பண்ணோம்னா அது ரெக்கார்டு ஸ்டோர் பண்ணிக்கலாம்.
சூப்பர். எதில் பண்ண போகிறீங்க?
ஃப்ரண்ட் எண்டு வந்து ஜாவா ஸ்கிரிப்ட் ரியாக்ட் இருக்குது.
ஸோ நீங்கள் டைப் ஸ்கிரிப்ட்
இல்லை சார், ஜாவா ஸ்கிரிப்ட் தான் இருக்குது. ஓகே, அந்த டைப் ஸ்கிரிப்ட் ஜாவா ஸ்கிரிப்ட் நம்ம டைப் ஸ்கிரிப்ட் பண்ணணும்னு சொல்லிடுறாங்க. டைப் ஸ்கிரிப்ட் கொஞ்சம் ஈஸியாக இருக்கும்னு சொல்லிடுறாங்க. ரியாக்ட் அப்படிங்கும்போது பேக் எண்டு பைத்தான் தெரியாது, அதோட ஜாங்கோ யூஸ் பண்ணுங்க. டேட்டா பேஸ் யூஸ்
Good. So you guys are using modernized applications front end. So the power of JavaScript is something phenomenal. In the company of web development, front end, gone over the days when you have been developing JavaScript. So things are moving on JavaScript. So this is where your MVVC patterns will come into play. So you will have a backend, a front end, and then you will have your service files. So the service files are doing other front-end of another. So doing something like this, it could be a simple application, but other or maybe serving the old wine in a new jar will make a very different use case around it. So don't go for, even if you are going for a traditional project, don't go for a mechanism or approach which are not anymore into privileges, which is not accepted by the industry. I think this is a good thing. I'm leaving the concept aside. So concept you can still fine tune to find two things. But as a technology, whatever you are taking, this will help you to get you the entry ticket easily. And if you are getting to complete it, ஒரு ப்ராஜெக்ட் இந்த 3 மாசத்துல நீங்க அதை கரெக்டாக பண்ண ஆரம்பிச்சீங்கன்னா பணம் முடிஞ்சதுன்னா you can definitely get in easily. Today, as we speak, we have opening for 7 node and node developers, Angular, React. We have open requirements. And ஒரு சில இடங்கள்ல ஸ்டார்டிங் எங்களதெல்லாம் ரொம்ப we are a very small company. எங்களதெல்லாம் வந்துட்டு ஒரு நல்ல எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ், ஈவன் ஃப்ரெஷர் லெஸ் தென் a year எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் இருக்கிறவங்களுக்குலாம் கூட very very stable. There are companies which are paying even 10 lakhs very easily. So it is matter of how you show yourself. நீங்கள் சொன்னதை ஒரு தடவை நீங்கள் கரெக்டாக எக்ஸிக்யூட் பண்ணும்போது யூ ஹேவ் தட் கான்ஃபிடன்ஸ். தென் யூ appear to any interview, you will be the clean layer. People would love to take interviews. நீங்களாம் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இல்லை வேற வெப் ப்ராஜெக்ட்ஸ் அதெல்லாம்
Sir, just a confirmation. You have already know my project. So is that useful project from your side?
I will ask you to do a research around it. Okay? ஏன்னா இந்த மாதிரி ப்ராஜெக்ட்ஸ் வந்து கூகுள்லேயே வந்துட்டு if you go Google Scholars into a project, தெரியுமா?
Confirm that.
Google Scholars இந்த மாதிரி நிறையா IEEE ப்ராஜெக்ட்ஸ்க்கு ரெக்கார்ட் பண்ணி கொண்டு வரதுக்கு, இன்டர்நேஷ்னல் ஜேர்னல்ஸ் ரெக்கார்ட் பண்ணி கொண்டு வரது, அதை மேனேஜ்மெண்ட் கொண்டு ஹண்ட்ரட்ஸ் ஆஃப் ஃபோட்டோஸ் பிளாக்ஸ் இருக்குது. நீங்கள் பண்ணுறது வந்து கிட்டத்தட்ட ஒரு பிளாகிங், என்னோட பிளாக் என்னோட டேட்டா போடுறது. I think for a caliber of yours, like for a second year MSc முடிக்கிறதுக்கு, if you ask me if this is a right project, I would say just quick, if you are not given your 100% on that, try to think of something which is more solving more problems, or the problem statement is more strong. But I would appreciate your courage to come talk, tell what you are doing. That's the thing is, you just need to have a strong hold. நீங்க சால்வ் பண்ற பிரச்சனை வந்துட்டு பிரச்சனையா இருக்கும் நிஜமாவே, கரெக்டுங்களா? அது ஒரு பிரச்சனையே இல்லை அப்படிங்கிற பட்சத்தில் அதை வந்து நீங்கள் சால்வ் பண்ணும்போது how it is getting impacted. இதில் நீங்கள் ரெண்டு விஷயம் பண்ணுறீங்க. One is you are solving a problem. Second, you are getting in or experiencing putting in these technologies. So how you want to do it is also going to make difference. So நீங்கள் வந்துட்டு இதை வந்துட்டு ஃப்ரண்ட் end என்ன யூஸ் பண்ண போகிறீங்க, என்ன பண்ண போகிறீங்க, என்ன டெக்னாலஜி யூஸ் பண்ண போகிறீங்க?
Next.js, React.
Next.js பண்ண போகிறீங்க. So TypeScript தெரியும்?
Somewhat.
Database
வந்துட்டு டேட்டா ஸ்கீமா பற்றி ஐடியா இல்லை. ஸோ ஐ காண்ட் டு நோ சீக்வல் MongoDB.
Unstructured data. Okay. Backend?
Express, Node.js.
That's a good choice of technology. See, at the end of the day, both has to be equal. உங்கள் டெக்னாலஜி நல்லா இருக்கு, உங்களுக்கு டெக்னாலஜி நீங்கள் ஸ்ட்ராங்காக இருக்கீங்க அப்படின்னா follow whatever you're doing. I don't see that to get wrong. I'm not sure. I cannot mentor you for your individual project. I can tell you as an idea, if you ask me, is it solving a significant problem? இந்த மாதிரி நிறைய நீங்கள் இதுக்கான ஓப்பன் சோர்ஸ் ஸ்கிரிப்ட் ஏதாவது இருக்கான்னு பாருங்க. நீங்கள் சொல்கிற டெக்னாலஜிலே இருக்கிற ஓப்பன் சோர்ஸ் ஸ்கிரிப்ட் இருக்குதான் வாய்ப்பு. ஸோ if it is already there, then you are not going to create. At the end of the day, 3 வாரத்தில் நீங்கள் என்ன பண்ண போகிறீங்க, அந்த ஸ்கிரிப்ட் எடுத்து டவுன்லோட் பண்ணிட்டு ப்ராஜெக்ட் முடிச்சுட்டு கரெக்டாக? Then that does, you can tell about it, then you are not doing anything. Don't do that. Don't do that means download. Any other question? Any other question? Jennifer. Question கேட்டாவே இன்னைக்கு வெளியே போக முடியாது.
Jerome.
Linux, Kali Linux and Notepad user friendly. Linux, Kali Linux mousepad, text editor basic but அது என்கிரிப்ட் ஆயிருக்கா அது என்ன பிரைவசியா இருக்கா ஸோ விண்டோஸ்ல இருக்கிற மாதிரி நோட்பேட் யூசர் ஃப்ரெண்ட்லியா பட் பிரைவசி என்கிரிப்ஷன் அது செக்யூரிட்டி பர்பஸ்ல ஆக்டிவ் லினக்ஸ்ல கிரியேட் பண்ற மாதிரி சார் வாட்ஸ்அப்
Actually, good project, to be honest. But the scope it is the same thing. So, it's that's also there, but someone is taking out of the box, system side of the so, your time use C++ or?
No, sir, Python, using Python and encryption, advanced encryption standard algorithm. Advanced encryption standard algorithm. Cryptography I'll do research for that.
It's actually good thing. If you're using Python to do that, yes, there's a lot of. But the market, we need also look at the market. After the Python, from the market is. Yes, solve on the utility market. There's no requirement as such because there are VA use I use VA. So VA is the editor. Slime is an editor. Already it is pre-installed. So someone installed it now. It will be different. But we are doing it as a project. So I don't think as a model what you are using or you are trying to do someone is totally thinking all about. Now college studying was a single OS and OS. So, Nokia India 17th Indian OS development. C++. So I was trained by Nokia when I was so now while I was studying, I completed my C++ carbide development முக்கிய மாவட்டத்தில் பண்ணாங்க ஸோ அந்த சிஸ்டம் சைடுக்கு யோசிக்கணும் அப்படின்னா அன்னைக்கு தெரியுற ஆப் டெவலப்மெண்ட் கிடையாது இந்தியன் ஆப் டெவலப்மெண்ட் அப்ளிகேஷன் நான் அதில் பண்ண பெரிய விஷயமே ஃபோன் அதை யூஸ் பண்ணிக்க மாட்டாங்க பட் சம்திங் மோர் ட்ரை டு டூ பட் டோன்ட் சேஞ்ச் டெக்னாலஜி Python.
Marcel.
Thank you guys. Thank you, sir. Gratitude is the music of the heart, played on the strings of thankfulness. I call upon Shweta to deliver the words of gratitude.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is indeed a great honor for me to propose the vote of thanks to all those who have helped us in making this seminar a great success. First of all, I thank the Almighty for making this seminar an engaging and resounding source of knowledge. I would like to thank our distinguished resource person, Mr. Michael Allwyn, and his team for sharing stuff from their ocean of knowledge, making excellent presentation and making this session interesting and meaningful. Thank you, sir. We hope that me and my fellow students will utilize this knowledge that we have gained today in our future curriculum ahead. Now, I would like to extend our profound gratitude to our head of the department, Dr. Bharathasan sir, for this moral support and guidance. Our coordinator, Dr. M.T. Anandraj sir, and seminar organizer, Dr. Gerald sir, for their great support in arranging this seminar. Thank you, sir. I especially thank the technical team who have provided their best support. Thank you, team. Finally, I thank each and everyone who have participated in this seminar and our benefactors. Thank you so much for your cooperation, friends. Once again, I thank every good soul. Thank you all.
Before winding up, I would like to honor the alumni. So I would like to appreciate one among you. So that is Muhammad Tafiq, who designed the Okay, so thank you so much.